The missiles are flying in Eastern Europe, and you've got a wood-frame suburban house that physics hates. No basement, drywall walls, windows on every side like radiation welcome mats. Your emergency preparedness consists of bottled water and hoping the government saves you. Spoiler, they won't. They're already in hardened facilities. The wealthy evacuated to private bunkers months ago. Silicon Valley bought New Zealand property for exactly this scenario. They saw it coming and left. You're still here, staring at a home that'll kill you if you don't modify it, wondering if you have time. Here's what you actually have. Weeks, maybe months, before this escalates to global exchange. Maybe less, if things move fast. You can spend that time turning your home into something survivable, or you can pretend this won't happen and accept single-digit survival odds when it does. Welcome to bunker conversion for people without trust funds. Time to see if your house is even worth saving. Let's be honest about your home's current survivability rating. Most suburban houses are radiation sieves wrapped in vinyl siding. They're designed for comfort and resale value, not stopping gamma rays. Your home falls into one of three tiers, and which tier determines whether modification is worth the effort or you're just polishing a death trap. Tier 1. You've got a basement, earth overhead and around you. This is best case because you're starting with natural shielding already in place. Every foot of soil overhead cuts gamma radiation by roughly half. Your basement with 6 feet of earth above provides about 98% radiation reduction compared to standing outside. Add concrete walls, and you're approaching bunker-grade protection with zero construction. If you have a basement, especially in brick or concrete construction, you can achieve genuine survival-grade shelter with modest modifications. You won the geographic lottery. Tier 2. No basement, but solid structure. Brick exterior, concrete block, or a well-built frame house with an interior room that has no exterior walls. You're starting weaker, but physics can still work with effort. An interior bathroom or closet surrounded by other rooms creates mass layers between you and outside. Not as good as earth, but better than windows. You'll need to add shielding, seal aggressively, and accept lower protection. Survivable with work. Tier 3. Wood frame, no basement, lots of windows, suburban isolation. Maybe mobile home. Your structure offers essentially zero radiation protection currently. Wood and drywall stop almost nothing. A wood stud wall provides maybe 5% radiation reduction. Mobile homes are worse because they're designed for mobility, not mass. If you're Tier 3, you face a brutal choice. Pour money and labor into modifications for marginal survivability, or relocate to Tier 1 or 2 before things escalate. Here's the class warfare reality nobody mentions. That $400,000 suburban home with granite countertops has worse nuclear survival characteristics than an $800 per month basement apartment in an older brick building downtown. Location and construction were determined by real estate values, not physics. The market doesn't price in radiation shielding. Distance matters. Within 5 miles of a military base, major port, or strategic infrastructure, you're in the immediate blast zone. 10 to 20 miles out, heavy fallout, but possible survival. Beyond that, distance helps. Most Americans live near likely targets because that's where jobs are. Another way the system set you up to fail. You've assessed your baseline. Now let's talk about what you can actually change with $500 and a hardware store. Because that's your budget, and we both know it. Priority 1 isn't a Geiger counter or freeze-dried food. It's not tactical gear or expensive prepper industry nonsense. Priority 1 is keeping fallout dust outside while you stay inside and alive. Here's your hierarchy. Memorize it because your life depends on getting this order right. 1. Contamination control. Seal every air gap. Windows, doors, vents. Cost: $50 to $100 for plastic sheeting and duct tape. Effectiveness: 90% contamination reduction. This is your foundation. Everything else fails without this. 2. Shielding enhancement. Add mass around your shelter perimeter. Water jugs, sandbags, concrete blocks, furniture. Cost: $400 to $600. Cuts radiation dose by 50 to 80%. This determines whether you get acute radiation syndrome or you walk away mostly intact. 3. Water storage. 1 gallon per person per day. 2 weeks means 14 gallons per person. Family of 4 needs 56 gallons. Dehydration kills in 3 days. Radiation might not kill you for weeks. Do the math. Cost: $100 to $200. 4. Food reserves. Shelf-stable, calorie-dense, no-cook. 2 weeks per person. Cost: $200 to $300. Important, but secondary to water, because you can survive longer without food than without hydration. 5. Everything else. Flashlights, batteries, radio, first aid. Cost: $100 to $200. Useless if you're already dead from radiation or dehydration. Why this order? Physics and biology. Acute radiation exposure kills in hours without shielding. Dehydration kills in 3 days. You survive 2 weeks without food by burning fat and muscle. Uncomfortable, but survivable. Everything else is comfort, not life support. Common mistakes that kill preppers. Spending $3,000 on night vision before $50 on window seals. Stockpiling guns before water. Building ventilation before weather stripping. The prepper industry profits from expensive gear that makes you feel prepared without actually improving your survival odds. Reject that psychological trap. Budget reality. $2,000 achieves 80% of maximum survivability for typical homes. First 500 buys 60% improvement through sealing and basic shielding. Next 1,500 buys another 20% through better shielding and supplies. Beyond that, diminishing returns unless you're building a professional bunker, which you're not. The 80-20 rule applies here. High-impact modifications first. Perfect is the enemy of good enough to live. Tools needed. Basic hardware store stuff you probably own, plus 200 in specialized supplies. Duct tape, plastic sheeting, contractor bags. That's it. Not tactical gear, not electronics. Physics applied through cheap materials. Now that you know what matters, let's start with the single most important modification. Making sure fallout stays outside while you stay inside and alive. Fallout is dust. Deadly, radioactive dust. But it's just dust. Microscopic particles of vaporized material, now loaded with radioactive isotopes, falling back to Earth like snow that causes cancer. Keep the dust out. Keep radiation exposure down by 90%. Physics applied through plastic and tape. The particles are small, 3 to 10 microns. Smaller than you can see, small enough to slip through gaps you didn't know existed. They settle on surfaces. They infiltrate through any opening. Door gaps, window frames, electrical outlets, vents. Every pathway becomes a contamination route. Your goal is turning your home into a sealed box where fallout can't reach you. Window sealing. 6 mil plastic sheeting minimum, thicker is better. Measure your windows. Cut sheets 6 inches larger than the frame on all sides. Tape the plastic to the wall around the window using duct tape. Not masking tape or painter's tape that'll fail when you need it. Complete seal at all edges. No corner gaps. Interior application lets you check and repair the seal without going outside into hot zones. Cost: $50 covers every window in a typical house. Hardware store run takes 20 minutes. Door sealing: weather stripping around all frames if you don't have it. Bottom door sweeps eliminate the gap under doors where particles crawl in like radioactive insects. For your shelter room door specifically, have plastic pre-cut and ready to tape over the entire frame when you seal in. If you have a mudroom or garage entry, congratulations. You've got a natural airlock. Use it. Enter through the first door. Strip contaminated outer clothing in the transition space, then enter the sealed living space through the second door. Never bring exterior contamination into your clean zone. This is basic decontamination protocol that might keep you from ingesting particles that irradiate you from inside. HVAC and vents. Turn off your furnace and air conditioning the moment fallout starts descending. Forced air systems pull outside air into your home. That's their job normally. During fallout, that's death delivered through your ductwork. Seal every vent. Bathroom exhaust, dryer vent, kitchen range hood, floor registers, return air grills. Plastic and duct tape over everything. Zero air movement in or out. Here's the problem. Humans need oxygen. Sealed rooms accumulate carbon dioxide. 2 to 4 people in a sealed bedroom hit dangerous CO2 levels in about 8 hours. You can't maintain hermetic seal for 2 weeks without suffocating. Biology doesn't care about your radiation protection if you're unconscious from hypoxia. The solution is imperfect, but survivable. First 24 hours, seal everything completely. The initial fallout wave deposits the heaviest contamination. Gamma dose rates outside are astronomical. After that first day, radiation levels outside drop by roughly 90% as the hottest isotopes decay. You can crack the seal slightly for brief air exchanges when fallout isn't actively falling. 10 to 15 minutes, preferably early morning after overnight particle settling. You're balancing suffocation risk against contamination risk. Field expedient filtration helps. A box fan with HEPA filter taped to the intake side creates makeshift particle filtration. Not radiation shielding, but it catches fallout dust before it enters your space. Wet towels draped over a small opening also trap particles. The moisture acts like flypaper for microscopic debris. You're making trade-offs. Perfect seal means suffocation. No seal means contamination. Filtered air exchange is the compromise that keeps you breathing and mostly clean. Not perfect. Survivable. Your home is sealed against contamination, but sealed space won't help if the walls can't stop gamma radiation. Time to add mass between you and physics. Gamma rays pass through air, wood, and drywall like they don't exist. Dense materials slow them down. Your job is packing dense materials around your shelter space using whatever you can afford or already own. Physics doesn't care about your budget. Gamma radiation is high-energy photons. Dense materials have more electrons to interact with. That's attenuation. The rule of halves. Double your shielding thickness, cut radiation dose in half. 1 layer of blocks, half the dose. 2 layers, quarter dose. 4 layers, 1/16. The math finally works for you, instead of against you. Pick your shelter space. Interior room with maximum walls between you and outside. Basement corner ideal. First floor bathroom or closet if that's what you have. Start with existing mass, then add more until the numbers say you might survive. Water barriers. 5-gallon jugs stacked around your perimeter. Dual purpose. Shielding and drinking water. 7 inches of water cuts dose in half. Stack jugs, 2 or 3 deep, for significant protection. Cost, $150 for 30 jugs. You need the water anyway. Now it's shielding too. That's efficiency the prepper industry won't tell you about because they can't mark up tap water. Sandbags, heavy-duty contractor bags filled with yard dirt or sand, 50 pounds per bag. Stack against exterior-facing walls. 4 inches of earth cuts dose in half. Stack 3 bags high. That's 12 inches, an 87% dose reduction. Cost, $50 for bags. Dirt is free from your yard. Books. Floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, packed tight, create mass. 8-foot shelf might give you 8 inches of paper thickness. Not as good as earth, better than air. Already own books? Free shielding. Move shelves strategically. Your liberal arts degree finally pays survival dividends. Furniture, heavy dressers, filing cabinets, loaded refrigerators. 300 pounds of refrigerator is mobile shielding. Push it into your hallway to block line of sight. Dresser full of clothes provides mass. Use what you have because buying new mass is expensive and you're not made of money. Concrete blocks. Hardware store cinder blocks, $2 each. Stack without mortar for temporary walls. 30 blocks creates a 4-foot barrier section. Cost, $60. Concrete is excellent shielding. Also excellent for building anxiety, because stacking concrete blocks in your living room makes the nightmare real. Strategic placement. Focus shielding on exterior-facing sides. Interior sides need less because other rooms provide mass. Overhead shielding is critical but difficult. Stack mass on floor above if possible. Every layer between you and sky reduces dose. Cost summary. Water jugs, $150. Sandbags, $50. Books and furniture, $0. Concrete blocks, $200. Total, $400 to $600 for significant improvement in your odds of not dying from radiation sickness. Reality check. Your improvised shield won't match professional bunkers that cost more than your house, but it changes survival odds from 20% to 80%. Good enough isn't perfect. Good enough means you live. Your home is sealed and shielded. You've built radiation barriers using hardware store supplies and furniture you already owned. Now comes the question that determines if you survive week 2. What are you drinking when the tap stops running and your throat starts closing from dehydration? You need 1 gallon per person per day. This isn't negotiable. This is biology that doesn't care about your opinions or your optimism. Dehydration kills in 3 days. Radiation might not kill you for weeks or months. Do the math on what matters first. 1 gallon per person per day minimum. 2 weeks shelter in place means 14 gallons per person. Family of 4 needs 56 gallons. That's 56 times 8 pounds. 448 pounds of water you need to store somewhere in your home. Sounds like a lot, because it is. Store it anyway, or die of thirst while surrounded by shielding that kept you alive from gamma rays, but couldn't create water from air. Storage solutions by budget. Bottled water cases. Easy, portable, ready to drink. Cost, $50 to $75 for 14 gallons per person. Most expensive per gallon, but 0 preparation needed. Buy it, stack it in your shelter room, done. The prepper tax you pay for convenience. 5-gallon jugs. $20 each empty. Fill with tap water before crisis hits. Reusable, stackable, doubles as shielding when positioned around your shelter perimeter. 30 jugs for family of 4. Cost, roughly $150 total. Best value for dual-purpose use. This is the smart play. Water bricks. Stackable rectangular containers designed for emergency storage. 3.5 gallons per brick. $35 per brick. Space efficient if you're tight on storage room. in an apartment or small house. More expensive than jugs, but easier to organize and transport if evacuation becomes necessary. Water Bobby bathtub, bladder. 100-gallon reservoir you fill when alert triggers, $35. Fits in standard bathtub. Food-grade plastic liner keeps water clean for weeks. Buys you massive capacity if you have warning time. Risk is if alerts happen when you're not home, or if you panic and forget to fill it in the chaos. Backup solution, not primary. Your hot water heater is an emergency reserve most people forget about. 40 to 50 gallons sitting in your basement or utility closet right now. Learn the drain procedure before you need it. Turn off power or gas first. Let it cool if it was heating, then open the drain valve at the bottom into clean containers. This is your backup tank that happens to heat water normally. Contamination prevention. Store water before fallout occurs. Sealed containers prevent particle infiltration. Open water sources after blast are contaminated. Rivers, lakes, puddles, all exposed to fallout. Rain collection during fallout period is liquid death. You're catching water that passed through the radioactive cloud. Might as well drink from the mushroom cloud directly. Rotation and maintenance. Bottled water every 6 to 12 months. Tap water in sealed jugs. Replace every 6 months, or add water preserver drops available at camping stores for $5. If water tastes stale when you open it, you're not dying of thirst. Drink it anyway. Survival isn't about pleasant flavors, common failures that kill people. Assuming tap water runs during crisis, it won't. Power fails, pumps fail, municipal systems collapse within hours. Planning to fill containers when alert happens. You'll forget or run out of time or panic, or you'll be at work when sirens sound. Storing too little because it takes up space in your home. Then you die of dehydration in a sealed shelter, surrounded by shielding that couldn't create water from nothing. You have water. That means you survive week 1. Now let's make sure you survive week 2 by addressing food, the thing everyone overfocuses on, while ignoring water like idiots. Food is secondary to water, but you still need it. Your body can survive weeks without food if necessary. Your body survives 3 days without water. Hierarchy matters. 1,500 to 2,000 calories per person per day. Minimum for sedentary survival. 2 weeks means 21,000 to 28,000 calories per person. Family of 4 needs 84,000 to 112,000 calories total. That's not as much as it sounds when you think in bulk carbohydrates. Strategic categories. Carbohydrates first. Rice, pasta, oats, crackers. Calorie dense, cheap, years-long shelf life. A 20-pound bag of rice is 40,000 calories for $12. Do the math. Proteins. Second, canned tuna, canned chicken, beans in cans, and dried peanut butter. Fats matter because they're highest calorie density. Peanut butter again, nuts, cooking oils if you can heat food. Ready-to-eat essentials for when power dies. Protein bars, granola bars, trail mix. No cooking required when grid fails and gas lines shut off for safety. Forget expensive freeze-dried meals. That's prepper industry markup exploiting your fear. A week of freeze-dried food costs $200 and tastes like cardboard processed through a chemical plant. Buy bulk versions of regular food you already eat. Rotate stock continuously. Use oldest. Replace as you go. $200 to $300 feeds family of 4 for 2 weeks. Basic, but adequate. You're not hosting dinner parties. You're staying alive. No-cook meal planning matters because power probably fails early. Grid overload, electromagnetic pulse effects, infrastructure damage, deliberate shutdown to prevent fires. Gas lines shut off automatically in many regions during emergencies. Avoid meal plans requiring cooking unless you have camp stove and fuel stockpile. Cold beans from a can beat starvation elegantly. Comfort items matter for psychological survival. Coffee, tea, candy, hot sauce to make bland food tolerable. Sugar for morale, salt for electrolytes and flavor. These aren't luxuries. These are what keeps you from losing your mind in week 2 of isolation. Power and light systems. Grid, power fails. Assume it immediately. Battery stockpile. AA, AAA, D cells. $50 to $100 for 2-week supply. LED flashlights last exponentially longer than incandescent. Hand crank flashlight as backup when batteries die. Candles work, but fire risk in enclosed spaces is real. Use sparingly. Never sleep with candles burning. Communication tools are non-negotiable for survival. Battery or hand crank emergency radio with AM, FM, and no AA weather bands. $20 to $40. This is your information lifeline when everything else dies. Your phone dies within hours when grid fails and you can't recharge. Internet fails when servers lose power and infrastructure collapses. Cell towers collapse or get overwhelmed. Radio waves still work because they're simple electromagnetic radiation that doesn't require infrastructure between transmitter and receiver. Official emergency broadcasts tell you when radiation drops to survivable levels, when evacuation routes open, when safe zones exist, when it's finally okay to emerge. Without radio, you're guessing based on nothing. With radio, you're informed and can make intelligent decisions about when to unseal your shelter. You have physical systems now: seals, shields, water, food, power, communication. Everything you need to survive 2 weeks of nuclear fallout. Now comes the hard part that most people fail: making sure those systems actually work when you need them, instead of failing spectacularly at the worst possible moment because you never tested anything. Having a plan on paper and having a functioning bunker are different things. Untested systems fail when you need them. Always. This is universal law that doesn't care about your preparation or your confidence. Stress test before real stress arrives, or discover your failures when discovery means death. Test your seals. Close all windows and doors with plastic in place. Light incense or a smoke source inside your sealed shelter room. Watch for smoke escaping through gaps. If smoke gets out, fallout gets in. The test is simple and brutal in its honesty. Find the leaks, reseal them, test again until smoke stays contained. This takes 20 minutes and might save your life by revealing gaps you missed because you were tired or rushed or overconfident. Test your shelter space by actually spending 6 to 8 hours sealed in your shelter room with your household members. No phones, no entertainment except what you stored. Check temperature. Does it get stuffy fast? Does anxiety spike? Check comfort. Can you tolerate this for days? Check psychological tolerance, because that's what breaks people. If you can't handle 8 hours in testing, you won't handle 2 weeks in reality. Better to learn this now and adjust your plan than discover it when going outside means death from acute radiation exposure. Supply access drill. Can you reach everything without leaving your shelter space? Water, food, first aid, radio, flashlights, bathroom solution. The time to discover you stored critical supplies in the garage is not during fallout, when opening that door means contamination. Move things now. Arrange your space so everything essential is within arm's reach. Family buy-in is the hidden challenge nobody talks about. Your partner thinks you're paranoid. Your kids think this is weird. Your roommates think you're overreacting to geopolitical theater that won't actually escalate. Frame it as general emergency prep. Works for storms, earthquakes, grid failures, civil unrest. Start small. Prove concepts. Don't be preachy apocalypse zealot who alienates everyone. You can't force people to prepare. You can prepare anyway and hope they benefit when they need it. Here's the harsh truth most won't acknowledge. Most people won't do this. This requires 40 hours of work, spread across weekends. Spending $500 to $2,000 on might never happen scenario. Going against social normalcy bias that says everything will be fine because it's always been fine. Statistics say less than 5% of people who read this will complete these modifications. But that 5% survives at much higher rates when others don't. When the unprepared are dying from dehydration or acute radiation syndrome in week 1, the prepared are sealed in functioning shelters, waiting for decay curves to work in their favor. Maintenance matters because preparation isn't a one-time event. Check seals quarterly because plastic degrades in sunlight and temperature fluctuations. Rotate water and food on schedule. Test radio batteries every 6 months. This is ongoing low-level maintenance you commit to, or you don't. There's no middle ground. You know what to do. You know how to test it. You know most people won't do it, despite having the information and the resources. Now comes the final decision that determines everything. Are you going to be the person who acts, or the person who wishes they had, when it's too late to matter? Let's review what separates survival from statistics. This is your checklist. This is your chance. This is the difference between living and becoming a casualty number in a report nobody reads. The complete action list. Assess your home's baseline tier. 1, 2, or 3. Seal all windows, doors, vents with plastic sheeting and duct tape. Build shielding barriers around interior shelter space using water jugs, sandbags, books, furniture, concrete blocks. Store minimum 1 gallon per person per day. Water for 2 weeks minimum. Stock 2 weeks shelf-stable, no-cook food. Acquire battery-powered emergency radio and batteries. Test everything by actually spending time in your sealed shelter with your family. Maintain quarterly because systems degrade. Seals crack, supplies expire, batteries die, plans fail without maintenance. Total investment summary. Time, 40 hours. Across 2 to 4 weekends of your life. Money, $800 to $2,000, depending on baseline and family size. Knowledge, you have it now from this script. Willingness, that's entirely on you and nobody else. What this doesn't do, won't protect from direct hit. Nothing will, except not being there. Won't protect from extended 6-month-plus siege scenario, because you'll run out of supplies eventually. Won't solve social breakdown, security problems, or roving gangs. Won't guarantee survival, because nothing guarantees survival. Improves odds from roughly 20% to 70–80% depending on execution quality. It's not magic shield. It's not guarantee. It's applied physics and logistics that change probability in your favor when probability is all you have. The choice framework. Option A, do nothing. Hope WW3 doesn't happen. Hope tensions de-escalate. Accept under 20% survival odds if you're wrong about geopolitics. Option B, invest 40 hours and $1,500. Significantly improve odds to 70–80%. Live with wasted effort if nothing happens, and you spent money on supplies you never used. Which regret can you live with? Doing unnecessary work, or dying preventably when you had the information and the resources, but lacked the willingness? Class warfare closing because it matters. The rich already made their choice years ago. Luxury bunkers in New Zealand, private facilities in remote mountains, advanced evacuation plans coordinated with private security. Government officials have hardened facilities under granite mountains. Military has protocols, shelters, and continuity of government plans. You have this information and a hardware store within driving distance. They chose. They prepared. Now you choose. Final accountability assignment. This script gave you knowledge. Knowledge without action is just entertainment you consumed and forgot. 6 months from now, you're either protected or you're not. Your shelter either functions or it doesn't. Your supplies either exist or they don't. That's on you. Not on me, not on circumstances, not on whether you had time or money or motivation. On you. No good luck. No stay safe. No comforting platitudes. Just cold reality that doesn't care about your feelings or your excuses. You wanted bunker conversion without trust funds. That's it. That's everything you need. Sealing protocols, shielding techniques, water storage calculations, food supply planning, testing frameworks, maintenance schedules. Simple, not easy, but clear. Can you do it? Yeah, probably. If you prepare now, stay calm when crisis hits. Follow physics instead of panic. Will you do it? That depends on whether you take this seriously now, or wait until mushroom clouds light up the horizon, and you're standing in your living room, wondering why you didn't listen when someone told you exactly what to do. Welcome to Bunker Conversion for People Without Trust Funds. Class dismissed. Start this weekend, or don't start at all.